Happy New Year to every single person watching. Really appreciate all the love and support I've gotten for all of 2024. Cannot wait to see what 2025 brings for the Baltimore Ravens, for this channel, and for every single one of you guys. On today's show, we're breaking down the double dose of great news the Baltimore Ravens got. The first news item has to do with the Cleveland Browns. We'll break that down a little bit. And then on the back half of today's show, we're talking a little bit more in depth about the Ravens. Has to do with a little bit of an injury report. A little teaser there. Stick around. Guys, I'm not going to lie to you. This is big. We've been doing a 2024 sub race with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it is coming down to the wire. They're at 6,695 subs on the year. We are at 6,673 subs, just 22 behind them. This is the last day we can make the push past the Steelers. If you guys hate them, and if you guys love me and love this channel, you'll do one thing for me. You'll hit that sub button. We got the best Ravens content money can buy on YouTube. That's the best part about it. Money doesn't have to buy it. It's free. So make sure you hit that sub button. Alrighty, the first bit of great news that we have today on your Baltimore Ravens is Cleveland's quarterback catastrophe. Hit you guys with a little bit of an alliteration there. I wasn't an English major, but hey, sometimes I still got some things in my bag. This tweet coming from Akron Jackson, Zach Jackson. He covers the Baltimore Ravens. If you're not Baltimore Ravens, Cleveland Browns. If you're for some reason a Cleveland Browns fan, you're watching this, hit him up on Twitter. He's a good follow. He says, Stefanski says Browns will work through the QB situation this week. Quote from Stefanski, their head coach. Certainly a chance I could play Bailey Zappe and Dorian in this game. So why is this great news, you ask? Well, I'm going to answer that. Because those two options at quarterback are pretty atrocious. Okay, let's start with talking about Dorian Thompson-Robinson, that is. Almost said Dorian Finney-Smith. Dorian Thompson-Robinson is 51% completion percentage this year in 2024. He's played 6 games. He's averaging 106 yards per game. He has 0 touchdowns of the year, and he's thrown 6 interceptions. He was a great story coming out of the XFL. One of those stories you kind of rooted for. Wanted to be a bigger deal. Wanted him to kind of make a bigger name for himself. But then he's gotten in the NFL, and it is obvious, ladies and gentlemen, he cannot play in this league. Plain and simple. Now, there wasn't just him that was mentioned by Coach Stefanski. He also mentioned possibly Bailey Zappe getting a little bit of play. Well, Bailey Zappe hasn't really played this year at all, but last year played 10 games with the New England Patriots and left little to be desired, to put it nicely. Okay, 59.9% completion percentage, 127.2 yards a game. He had 6 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, right? All in 10 games. So in my opinion, you kind of had the best of both worlds here. You have to choose, and you're probably going to see 2 guys, both of which have really struggled playing quarterback. Okay? And so I want to ask you guys, before we talk about this a little bit more in depth, which of these 2 players would you rather see? Who do you want to start? Who do you want to play this weekend against the Baltimore Ravens? Okay? Is it Dorian Thompson-Robinson? If so, type DTR. Is it Bailey Zappe? If so, give me a BZ down below. You're about to get hit with a YouTube ad break. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So make time go by faster. Make that ad break go by a little bit faster. So go down to the comment section. Find the pinned comment and reply for me with a DTR or a BZ. And the reason why this is such great news is because you don't see a guy like Jameis Winston in that equation. Stefanski said Jameis Winston would most likely be the team's emergency third quarterback. And that's great because although Jameis Winston played bad enough in the most recent weeks to get benched, the last time you played this team, he was starting quarterback and he lit you up. 65.9% completion percentage, 334 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks, and a passer rating of 115.3. One of the highest of his career, okay? And so, I get it. He's had an up and down season. We happen to be the up. Everybody else has kind of happened to be the down. But that's the thing about Jameis and the Jameis Winston experience, is he can go out there He can light you up for 300 any game of the week, any day of the week. But the guys like Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Bailey Zappe, those guys, in my opinion, don't have that ability. They don't have that home run hitter ability. They're not going to put 350 on you. You know who will? You know who can? Jameis Winston can, okay? And I get it. This defense looks drastically different since week 8. And a lot of that has been because of what Zach Orr has been able to do with this defense, okay? He has been phenomenal, and I want to give him his flowers. He has been a big reason that this team has seen such a big change. And so even if Jameis Winston was playing, I'd feel really good about this team's chance to still win that ballgame. But the fact that you're going to see Dorian Thompson-Robinson and or Bailey Zappe, I think we all can agree that's a pretty great news. Not to even put on not even mentioning the fact that at this point they're playing for a draft pick. They're not playing to win games. You can't let that get in your mind, but that's the reality of the situation. Going back to Zach Orr, do you like the way or love the way that he has turned things around? I sure do. If you guys agree with me, go ahead and like today's video. Show your support for Zach Orr and all that he's been doing so far in 2024. Before we go any further in today's video, I got to talk about Prize Picks because it's playoff time and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with Prize Picks. The best place to win cash while watching the playoffs, and you can now win up to 1,000 times your money on Prize Picks. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts, like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineup. This week, think Lamar Jackson will get more than 250 passing yards? What about Patrick Mahomes? More than 1.5 touchdowns. Cook up hot takes with your friends. Win real money this football season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. I got a little bit of a mixed bag. I know I usually pick Ravens. I wanted to kind of go against the fold here, against the grain. So I got the more on Jamar Chase, 95.5 receiving yards. The more on Jackson Smith and Jigba, 72.5 receiving yards. And the less on Calvin Ridley, 68.5 receiving yards. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly when you play just $5. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. And the second dose of today's great news has to do with the positivity surrounding the Ravens injury report. And when you're talking about an injury report, it's kind of unlikely you've got a lot of good things to say about it, but that's kind of the opposite of the case when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens. This tweet coming from Jeff Zreback today saying, running back Rasheen Ali returned to practice. Not practicing, Justice Hill, concussion/illness, Ronnie Stanley, illness, Patrick Ricari, illness, Nnamdi Madibuike, and then Jalen Armour Davis, both of them with hamstring injuries. Now, let's talk a little bit about Ronnie Stanley and Patrick Ricari, because I know what you're saying. You're saying, Joey, you just listed our second-string running back, who's our best pass-catching back, and you listed two of our starting offensive linemen. Well, the good news about all this is they're just dealing with an illness. They're not dealing with anything like an actually physical bodily harm injury, right? And yesterday, Harbaugh said that Stanley and Ricari are dealing with flu-like symptoms, and he's optimistic that they'll practice tomorrow. Now, they didn't practice today, but the fact that they're just dealing with a sickness, although it's the flu, and although it obviously looks like it's contagious and it's bad enough to be keeping them out of practice, I would much rather them be dealing with a flu than be dealing with an ankle injury, a wrist injury, a shoulder injury, a hamstring injury. Anything you can name, would much rather than be dealing with that than this. Now let's talk about Justice Hill. This tweet coming from Jonas Schaefer just yesterday. He said, John Harbaugh said running back Justice Hill is expected to play Saturday. He was sick for today's practice. Also was sick. That was yesterday, and he also was sick for today's practice as well. Okay? So if you look at this, did not practice, right? When you go down the line, you see Jalen Armour Davis, third-string cornerback. Those middle three guys, those are guys that should be back soon and will be back soon. And then you look at that last guy, Nnamdi Madibuike, which, sure, he's your starting defensive tackle. That's a bigger one, really, than any of them on this list. But he practiced on Monday. So you got to think it's not that bad of an injury if he was just practicing yesterday. It's probably just a precautionary day, okay? And this great news is just like, I don't want to say it's mind-blowing to me, but I think it's overshadowed, okay? I think a lot of times you can see guys on the injury report and you can feel bad for yourself, feel bad for your team, and say, man, we just keep getting crushed time and time again by injuries. But that could not be more of the opposite case for Baltimore. Okay, if you look at total points missed due to injury, this means a player's expected points added per snap. How many of those do you have injured? How many of those altogether are not playing for your team? Well, the Detroit Lions lead with 158. New Orleans Saints, 149. Cleveland Browns, 141. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 136. Who is down there at 32nd in the NFL? It's the Baltimore Ravens with 33. Okay? And even just throwing it back to last year, let's look at New Year's Eve, 2023. The injured reserve list. So not just the did not practice, the injured reserve. Could not practice. Could not play. You had Ardarius Washington, who was our current starting safety, David Ojabo, Keaton Mitchell, who was a dynamic back last year, Mark Andrews, and J.K. Dobbins. So your two starting running backs, the franchise leader in touchdown catches with Mark Andrews, and this year's starting safety, Ardarius Washington. All of those guys were on that list. So you don't even have to compare it to any other team this year. You just have to compare it to what this team looked like last year. And it is night and day different. So do you want to keep the good luck rolling? Simple yes or no question. If you're answering yes, go ahead and like the video for me. And if you don't want to keep the good luck rolling, then I don't even know what you're still doing, okay? But if you do like the video, keep us injury-free, and I'll see y'all next time.